at my mother's house. Do you guys know those guys that talk when they're up? You know Luca's quote, everybody talk when they up. So, North Point was up 16 at the half. We're up 6 with 30 seconds to go. And they blew the game. And we're about to watch the last minute 45 with the timeouts. And it's going to be lit, and I'm going to just be giving my own 2 for 2 cents. As you can see, I'm the guy in the yellow hoodie in over there. So, let's get into it. So, this was after a timeout. As you can see, Carson Badabass the ball back to Jack Agema. There was a lot of turnovers, fouls, and missed threes in the start of the game that really didn't help them. Jack goes for the cross. Turnover, almost a turnover. Carson for the 3. Hits a 3. As you can see, only down by 2. They were down by 16 at one point. They were trying to stop him. Jack Agema playing some really good defense. Lets him blow by him. And then the ridiculous lay. This dude was on fire. I was like, how is he doing this stuff? He was really good. Jack Agema going. He's going. He's trying to find a pass. He finds a pass, goes for the 3. See, and they were just off by 3. And what people don't know is that they're really electric. And the refs, I thought that were against us. Because at the last 2 minutes of the game, they were just calling so many foul calls. And it's like, at the last 2 minutes, you might as well let the players play. Because North Point was in the bonus. So we really didn't have any fouls that were coming our way, even though they were playing very physical. You know, I'm a very physical defender, so I like when people play physical. So, if they were to call those petty fouls on North Point, I would have been kind of upset. It would have kind of lost the sole purpose of the competitiveness. But he makes the first one. His last name was Bird, but more like Sue Bird, not Larry Bird. You know what I mean? So, I think he makes the second one. Has to call a timeout. So, basically, what their plan is right here, what I would advise them to do, was keep the lineup that they're about to use, because their best 5 3-point shooters Jack, Carson, Matt, Cam, and Jace. Those are the 5 best 3-point shooters, and that's the lineup that they're using. That's like a small ball lineup. In their big boy lineup where they need defenders, they use Paul and James because they can get rebounds and they play bigger than they actually are. And Cam was in foul trouble, so you couldn't really use his great defense, because Cam this season has been a lockdown defender, but he was in foul trouble. I almost felt like he got a technical foul in the first half because he really reacted to a foul call that was not a foul call because he was straight up in the air. But he reacted to a point where I was surprised that the ref didn't give him a technical. But he's played great defense. It's just he was in foul trouble. So for defensive purposes, you had to bring in Paul and James because they can also get the rebound as well. And then Jack Agema, Carson, and Matt, you obviously keep in the game. And Matt was really passive. But they get out of the timeout. And I don't know what they drew up here. Like I said, I was right in there in the yellow hoodie in the corner right there. So I don't know what they drew up. But Matt, Veltema is a great coach. Way better than Stevenson. Stevenson was whack. Stevenson's whack, bro. He didn't know how to use his players. That's why they lost before even winning the conference. So Carson goes up with the ball. Smart move. He had 30 this game. Pass it to Jace. Try to find it. They can all shoot. That's the thing. I don't think people realize. And one. And Carson, well, he couldn't really hit his shots. He was getting to the paint and he was getting the contact. And that was good for us. He was getting the contact. He was just going. He was just attacking. And sometimes you have to start close and then go far out. And then try your 3, try your midi. But just keep attacking because if you keep attacking, it's eventually going to work. You're going to find your group. And especially if you're a great free throw shooter like he is. He was getting his rhythm from the free throw line. And then another crappy foul, barely touched him. In these kind of close games, you really just let them play on, unless it's like a very blatant foul, but I felt like it was kind of ridiculous. And this is where you put in James and Paul so they can get the rebound. And then, weirdly enough, I don't know why they switched in Cam and Jace, but I guess they were trying to make sure that they would have their three-point shooters, but you could have used the timeout in this scenario, but I get it. You need both of your best three-point shooters in this game. Passes to Jack Agent, but Jack was a little off this game, but he was still able to distribute the ball. Had a lot of turnovers, though. Carson with a nice pump. An amazing three. Like I said, he was off in the beginning, but boy, he found his rhythm at the end. Great. And then Matt with the layup. Great steal by Carson. Great steal. Tied up the game. Made it interesting. Then they're scrambling, not knowing what to do. Forcing them to have a timeout. Even though one of the black kids that was on that team, and Sue Bird, I don't know the black kid's name, so that's what I'm going to call him. He was balling out. He was number 23, I think. And Sue Bird, they were balling out. It wasn't enough, and they just started scrambling because Calvin was down 21 to 37. They outscored them by a huge margin, like in the second half. And they just found life in the second half. Because I think what happened was Matt really wasn't trying to score. He was playing too passive. But then he scores 10 in the second half. Paul Bauma brings energy, grabbing those loose balls, grabbing those rebounds. Carson hits like 3 layups straight. Cam is playing defense, not fouling as much. I think he had like 3 fouls in the first half. James is getting big boards. Jack is distributing better. Because Jack had a crap ton of turnovers too. But he started distributing better, understanding like, yo, I'm kind of off tonight. But at this point, Calvin needs to play really good defense to be able to end this game and put it away and try to get a bucket. Or if not, try to get to the foul line and try to hope to go for the contact. I was at this game. This game was crazy. North Point was talking so much because they were up by 16 at the half, and then they're in this situation where they're scrambling, and now they're stressed, and now you can sense the fear in their hearts. And Calvin's momentum just increases like that. Cam just gets a steal. Like I said, Cam's a great defender. Doesn't go for the 3. Smart move. Goes to Carson. Carson gets enough contact where that's a foul. I didn't think that was a foul, but he got enough contact. Goes to the line. Great. Like I said, he knows how to get to the cup. He knows. He knew he was off from mid-range. He knew he was off from 3, but he still found a way to get to the cup, and that was so important. And he has such a rhythm from the free throw line that he's easily going to hit these 2. It's the first one. Great. They put ball back in for a rebounding big, which is good because Paul is very good at rebounding. Hits the second one. And now North Point is in the backseat, and now they don't know what to do. They're in the... Calvin Christian just got to the driver's seat in this play. Now they're scrambling. Don't know what to do. Out of bounds, Calvin. But that was still a really great defensive stop. They only have 5 seconds, not really knowing what to do. I will say this. This Calvin Christian high school basketball team is a lot more talented than last year's. I will say that. If I would have tried out, if I would have been a senior and I would have had the same basketball skills I had last year, I don't think I would have made it. I'll be real honest. But if I had the skills I had now, then I probably would have made it. But last year, with the skills I had, with the team that they had, because it wasn't as talented of a team last year, I think I would have made it. I should have made it, to be honest. Last year, when I was a senior, I should have made it, even with the skills I did have. I'm a lot better now, obviously, but this team is way too talented. Like, this team is so talented. They're 19-1. It's ridiculous. But the other team was 17-3. But they had a really thin bench. But this team has a great bench. Last year we had a super thin bench, which makes it more shocking that I didn't make it. But they try to find a 3 because they're trying to end this game. They try to go to overtime. Matt tips the ball, makes them scramble, makes him travel. He shifts his feet. Travel. The game is over. Point 4. Calvin doesn't even have to get a shot out. The game is over. And essentially, it wouldn't give North Point enough time to get a shot out. No, but as I was saying, this team is extremely deep. From starters to bench. Last year's team was thin from the bench. Great starters. I think the starters are just as good last year as they are this year. But the bench is a lot thinner because Cam wasn't as great a defender. Orm wasn't good. Damon is trash. Brady Nichols hardly played any minutes, which I don't understand why. Jace wasn't as big as he is now. Paul wasn't as confident and as aggressive. He's more timid when he played. Like, the bench was super thin last year, but their starters are the starters from last year are just as good as the starters this year. So I know if I was a senior and I had the same skills I had last year, I know I wouldn't have made this team, but I should have made last year's team. I should have, but you know, the coach is douchebag. They have such a much better coach that actually knows how to coach. So yeah. Yeah, literally warm up the bus. They were talking all this crap. And at this point, all Calvin really needs to do is inbound. They gotta throw a full court pass and they can get it intersected, and it doesn't even matter because they won't even have a time to get a shot off. Which is exactly what Paul does, and that is game. And they celebrate. Great victory, great statement win against North Point. A very good basketball team, very solid. Like I said, 2 of their players went off. But that's going to be it. Man, North Point, you guys really choked. You guys talked when you guys thought you would win this game. Really funny. You got to wait until the game is over for you guys to really run your mouth. But that's game, and that was a great game to watch. And I'm so proud of my boys. This team is so talented. Like I said, from the starters to the bench. Last year's bench, like I said, was kind of thin. Cam wasn't as good a defender. He was just a 3-point shooter. Paul wasn't as aggressive. Ball wasn't as aggressive. They hardly gave James any minutes. Jace wasn't as confident as he is now. And the seniors on the bench weren't even that good either. So it's like the bench now is a lot stacked. James is more confident. Jace is more confident. Paul is more aggressive and brings that energy off the bench. Wool is a great defender. Samir can give you 10 to 12 points if he really wants to. Sam Benton, Jackson Smith, like these guys can really hoop. And then your starting 5 is lethal. Like you have Matt, Carson, and Jack Agent, but that big 3 alone is ridiculous. And then you have Cam, who's a defensive stopper now and a great 3-point shooter. This team is going to go very far, much farther than last year's team did. Because like I said, last year's team, you can only really play 6 or 7 guys. And realistically, the coach didn't know how to use them and chose to put his son in for 20 minutes of the game, even though his son was trash. But that's going to be it. And I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm so proud of these guys. They're like little brothers to me. So this is going to be it for the video, and peace.
No one here stopping me. Gotta let them know I'm uncontrollable. When they roll with me, gotta let them know I'm uncontrollable.